Hello everyone and welcome to EDS 8800 Week 2, the Orientation and Scholarship class. Hopefully Week 1 went smoothly. We're on to Week 2, so I'm just going to give this quick overview of what to expect this week, just so you guys can get started. So we are down here on Week 2. Everything this week will be online, okay? So it's asynchronous online. So you can do this basically whenever you want. You can work through the materials and the assignments at the pace that you want, the schedule you want, as long as you get everything completed before midnight on June 16th. So before 11:59 p.m. June 16th. So here it is. So you've got your module overview. You can click here. This will just give you a brief statement of what the learning objectives for this week will be, this weekly module. Here you've got your readings and your videos for the week. So you have two brief readings. These are articles. They're really like handouts, so they're about 2 or 3 pages. Not very long, but the Universal Intellectual Standards of Critical Thinking. So these are standards that were put out there by a couple of researchers. Paul and Elder are their names. Big names in the field of critical thinking, of that research body. And then there's the elements of reasoning, which will go with those universal intellectual standards of critical thinking. So read those to kind of get yourself started thinking about this big picture stuff. And then I've created 3 videos that are just going to give you more of the content related to critical thinking. Okay? And so we'll tie this in with ideas in education, but the content of this course really is scholarly writing and critical thinking. And so this is where the content of critical thinking comes in. And I'm doing it like this. You're going to almost feel like you're in like a psychology course when you're going through these videos. And I'm doing this content on critical thinking in this course because we're cultivating a mindset for you moving forward into the specialist program as part of becoming a teacher leader, as part of refining the skill set that comes with an advanced degree, a specialist degree. Part of that is having this mindset where you're embodying critical thinking. And the research shows that we should be teaching critical thinking in isolation, okay? And then we can begin building it into some applied activities, which we'll actually do in this module. So you'll go through these videos. These videos are about, I think they're about 13 minutes in length each. Maybe 15 minutes is the longest one. So my recommendation for these videos, watch them, take notes, pause it if you need to, rewind. Try to actively watch these videos. Often we have a tendency when we're watching videos on an online course, it's very easy to get distracted by other things. Really try to actively watch and listen because these are big ideas moving forward in this program and in your career. And for the sake of this module, you're going to have to take a quiz over this this content, but we'll get to that in a second. So work your way through these. It's like I said, it's 13 to 15 minutes. Pause it every 5 minutes and take a break if you need to, but just make sure you're actively consuming the information in these videos. Okay. So those are the readings. Those are the videos for the week. So kind of the stuff that you're taking in. You do have some assignments and some activities this week. So the first thing that you're going to want to jump on is this one article literature review. So we've talked a lot about what peer-reviewed literature is, the articles are, what scholarly articles are, and we've talked about how to find those articles using our library website. Well, this week you have to identify one primary empirical research article. So you're finding one paper that describes an actual research study. It has to be a peer-reviewed article. And it can be either quantitative or qualitative. Ideally, you want this to be an article related to your field. So if you teach art education, try to find an empirical study on art education. Music education, same thing. Special education, same thing. Math, science. Whatever you teach, try to find an article related to that area. Now, you turned in your top tier journals that you found. You did that assignment. If you could find an article from one of those journals, fantastic. Okay, so I was trying to help you guys find a path for this particular assignment. So when you click on this, there are instructions here for what exactly I'm looking for. So go through this. There is a rubric in which I will grade you for these things. This is what I'm looking for. Here's the information I need right here. Also, I am looking for APA formatting. You have APA Style Central, or Academic Writer, as it's called. You should have the APA Publication Manual. You should have a running head and a title page for your paper. Okay, so that's APA formatting. You should have page numbers. Okay, you should have a header per 6th edition APA formatting. Okay, so make sure you do that. That's going to be part of the of your grade. It will factor into your grade. And I will be a little lenient with, if you have a couple of issues, but more than 5 APA formatting issues will result in a loss of points. Same thing for the quality of your writing. You have Grammarly, okay? You are all very bright professionals, and so you're capable of reading through your written work and making sure that it's edited and revised. So I'm looking for quality writing. Grammarly is really going to help with that. And then remember the things we talked about. After Grammarly, make sure you read it out loud. Okay, the ears catch often what the eyes miss. Get someone else to read it, to review it. Okay, so all that's here. The grammar piece, the quality of the writing, that will factor heavily into the grade of this paper. Okay, so make sure that that's all polished. Really go through Grammarly. Make sure you edit and revise for clarity. So that's all. There's a rubric attached to this. You should be able to see it from your end. It's an electronic rubric attached to this assignment. You can see how the grade breaks down. And the quality of the writing is weighted pretty heavily. What I also want you to submit is a Grammarly report showing me that you ran this work through Grammarly to generate the most polished product that you could. Okay? So you all have Grammarly. You all have it set up. I recommend writing either in Grammarly or writing in Word and then importing it into Grammarly, making the corrections, then putting it back into Word. I want you to, in addition to your assignment, which you will upload using this link, I also want you to upload your Grammarly report showing your final report, which should be a high score. Every time you make a correction in Grammarly, it ups your score. So here I've given you a step-by-step instruction, task analysis for how to do that, and I've given you screenshots. Basically, when you make your corrections, your final corrections in Grammarly, at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see a score. So here it says 100. Okay, I actually put the directions for this assignment in there just to check, and I had a score of 100. Okay, and so you're going to want to hover over that, and then you're going to click on it, and it's going to give you this report here. Okay, so what I recommend is then right-clicking on that. It'll give you this option for print page. So select that, and so you'll have the option to print. Down here on the left where it says PDF, click that drop down and click Save As. And I would name it something that's easy for you to remember so you can find it. And then that is going to be your report. So it'll be that one-page report. It'll be saved as a PDF. Upload that in addition to your assignment. Okay, that is a requirement for this submission. Okay, so make sure you have that report included as well. Okay. So that is the one article literature review. This week, you also have this critical analysis of Waiting for Superman. So Waiting for Superman is this very famous documentary about school reform, about education reform in America. It talks a lot about charter schools. It's considered this work of art, and there were talks of Oscars and everything when it came out. And this movie is a movie that's designed to evoke an emotional response. So it hits you right in the feels. That's the whole idea. But what I want you guys to do after you go through this literature, your readings about critical thinking and thinking about not relying on intuition and feelings to make an assessment of a situation, I want you to think about that stuff. And I want you to watch Waiting for Superman. You can rent Waiting for Superman. It's available on Amazon Prime Video. I think it's $2.99. You can rent it through YouTube. I think it's $2.99 there. If you have a subscription to Hulu, it is free with that subscription via Hulu. So that's how you can get your hands on it. And if it's been a while since you've watched it, you're going to want to go back and rewatch it because I ask you some very specific questions. And that is, you can find those questions here. There's a little template right down below. And so you need to answer these questions using critical thinking. Okay? It makes it easier for me, and I noticed this, I put this in here. If you use a different color to put your responses in, it makes it easier for me to see what was your writing and what was my writing. It makes my life easier when I'm grading it. So please do that. Okay, so watch that movie, answer those questions for your critical analysis. You do have a quiz this week, and the quiz is content. So it's content related to peer review research that we talked about in class. It's going to be content related to those intellectual standards. And it's going to be the content about critical thinking, all the vocabulary associated with critical thinking that you'll get here and that you'll get from the videos, okay? The videos here. Now, I've created this study guide for you. My recommendation is to get this, to build this study guide as you're going through this week, okay? So you'll get most of this information from the readings and from those videos. So you're going to want to use this, fill in some information, and then you can use this while you're taking the quiz, okay? So let me talk to you about the quiz. The quiz is not timed. It consists of multiple choice, matching, some true false, and some short answer questions, okay? If you complete this study guide, you're going to do very, very well in this quiz, okay? If you don't do so hot the first time, you do have 2 attempts. So if you want to go back and take it again, you can, and then only your highest attempt will be saved. But if you go through the study guide, I would put the definitions here. I would type them in so you have this. Type some answers to these questions because you'll see these questions again, trust me. And then have that ready. And then go through that quiz. And if you feel like you can do better, you can take it again and have a second attempt. Okay. And then finally, you have this discussion board, which is the module wrap up. So similar to the first week, you'll be basically going through and telling me how you will apply what you've learned this week to your practice. Okay, so that is week 2 in a nutshell. A lot to do, but you guys are capable of doing all of this. Hit the ground running. Don't procrastinate on this stuff. It's going to take you a while to go through all this. I would just put the pedal to the metal and get going with it as soon as possible. If you need anything from me, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to call, email. If you want to schedule a video conference, a FaceTime, Skype, whatever, if that helps you, I can do that as well. We can set that up and schedule it. So good luck, and I'll be checking in with you guys next week, which is also completely online.